You're watching the Lab Video Game TV Live. Our game is never over.
You're trapped inside with pure evil. There's a new VR experience out on MetaQuest from Nigeria, and a whole bunch more indie and VR releases inbound. It's one more round of the Lab Video Game TV. Bowl of Tentacles teams up with Jandu Soft for Evil Inside VR. eMedia Interactive from Abuja, Nigeria releases Closer Look VR Old Ways on MetaQuest with a Steam VR release inbound. And there's a whole lot of new indie and VR experiences just waiting to be experienced. The Leemeister Papalema scores a close win on Mad Dog McGriff in Crimson Desert in this week's freestyle clip. You want in? Send your best gameplay clips to contact at thelabvideogametv.com to be featured on Flow 1 in 25 Caribbean countries. Grab a Steam key for Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks in this episode's Game Key giveaway. Be in the know, visit the website at thelabvideogametv.com. Download the Stream Blue app to watch us on Flow on the go. Check out the Lab Video Game TV during the Sage projects on Ontario's Island Radio 101.3 FM and live at cjai.ca every Thursday at 4 p.m. I'm the Sage and you've just entered the Lab.
Watch Season 13 of the Lab TV in 25 trees only. Download the Caribbean Gaming app stream on the go. International video game and esports journalist Wayne Benjamin presents the Lab Video Game TV since 2003. Our game is never over.
Released August 11th, 2026 on Steam by solo developer and publisher Replicant D6 with the help of marketing team Stride PR. Let's take it back to the school where I'm from, the old school. If you were and still are into Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, and a bunch of those N64, PS1, and Saturn classics, you may be into this. Agent 64, Spies Never Die. Choose from story, co-op, challenge, arena, or online modes. With couch co-op split screen thrown in for good measures. All the ingredients and homages are here. From your character starting out in the opening scene playing an N64, the controls are smooth as butter, the mechanics are tight, and the replayability factor is high. Even if you're not a fan of retro-style experiences like this one, you may still dig it. Look out for a stream of this one over on Kick, YouTube, and Twitch soon from the Lab Video Game TV. Thanks to Stride PR for the Steam key.
Watch Season 13 of the Lab Video Game TV in 25 Caribbean countries only on Flow 1. Download the Caribbean's premium streaming app Stream Blue to watch on the go. International video game and esports journalist Wayne Benjamin presents the Lab Video Game TV since 2003. Our game is never over.
You're watching the Lab Video Game TV Live. Our game is never over.
Welcome back to one more round of Select Live here on the Lab Video Game TV Live. A shout out to all my viewers on Kick, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Thanks for passing through, thanks in advance for those who will pass through later, and to the ones who watch the VODs long after the streams have ended. Shout out to my Caribbean family. You can watch the TV series The Lab Video Game TV in 25 Caribbean countries on Flow 1. You can download that Stream Blue app to watch on the go on the device of your choice.
Cats in Ontario can check out the Lab Video Game TV's gaming news every Thursday at 4 p.m. during the Sage Projects on Ontario's Island Radio 101.3 FM. Coming real soon, the Lab Video Game TV will be on online TV, so a whole lot more people will be able to see it. Not just 25 Caribbean countries, not just the cats on YouTube and social media and what have you, but yeah, I'll be spreading my wings even further. Today I'm going to be running through Agent 64, Spies Never Die. So far it's holding a very positive rating on Steam, and well deserved, as I've been through about 10 or 15 minutes of it just to check the waters and make sure everything is okay, and it was more than okay. If you're a retro fan, you'll absolutely love it. It was released August 11th, 2026, with the last update being August the 13th. So that was yesterday. By indie developer, solo indie developer and publisher Replicant D6. This one is for the retro fans, the cats from the old school. And that's a little bit inaccurate. I won't say it's for the retro fans, because there is a chance that you may not be from the old school. You may not be a young person who likes the old school stuff, but you may still like this, because that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It happens to me many times. There are gaming experiences I didn't expect to like, and I like it anyway. And, you know, even though I am from the old school, I am not the greatest fan of boomer shooters, of retro style, pixel art style, PlayStation 1 and 64 style experiences. Not the greatest fan, you know, it's not my favorite thing, but if it's done well, it's done well. And so far, from the little I've experienced with Agent 64, Spies Never Die, it's done pretty well, you know. So far, there's no aiming down the sight. There's none of the modern day bells and whistles that we're accustomed to. But it still feels pretty good, still feels pretty solid. And if I can say that, then true fans of the era, well, I suspect they must really love it. I want to say a special thanks to Stride PR for hooking me up with the Steam key. I left link in descriptions on Kick on YouTube and on Twitch. It's also going to be in the video description, the VOD's description on YouTube as well. You guys can click on it and get straight to it. You know, if not, you can simply type it in yourself and find it. It ain't hard to do. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to run through this for about an hour. Not going to promise that I'll be going through it for any longer than an hour. But, you know, it happens that way sometimes. I have, like I've said in previous streams, there are experiences that I have to return to. I chose two. One being one of the best roguelikes I've experienced in a long time. The roguelike genre isn't my favorite, but every now and again I stumble upon roguelikes that I like, particularly those in the survivor-like genre. But yeah, I do like some roguelikes, and Pax Autocratica is one of the best I've experienced in quite some time. Very good. So I'm going to return to that. Not going to promise that I'll be able to complete it on stream, as I think it's a lengthy experience. And it's not easy for me to return to games either on stream, because so many come in. But yeah, Dragon Sword Awakening, I'm still going to get back to Dragon Sword Awakening, and I'm going to get back to Pax Autocratica. It's just a matter of timing. Sometimes I think Mondays and Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays are the best days for me to stream, even though you see me streaming on a Friday. I'm quite exhausted right now, to be quite honest with you. I just completed gaming news and a bunch of other stuff. Friday's a very busy day for me, but if I can squeeze a stream in, I will squeeze one in. But I think Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays may be the best days for me to actually stream. But sometimes even those days, they get kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? Other things come up, priorities, you know, that overshadow streaming, and I have to get on to those. But here's the lineup. So far, tentative lineup, things could change, something could drop out, more could pop in. But other than returning to Dragon Sword Awakening and Pax Autocratica, I'd like to stream Gunstoppable by Developer Cage Studios, and that one was released on the 5th of August. I'd like to get on to Everspace 2, the Galactic Edition, that dropped on Switch 2 It was kind of like a little stealth drop, as a matter of fact. You know, it just kind of just popped up on on Switch 2, yeah, just out of the blue. But yeah, I think it was on the 13th or the 12th of August. It popped up on Switch 2. So yeah, I want to run through Everspace 2 Galactic Edition. I did a little bit. I think I streamed Everspace 2 before, but I'm going to run through it again, you know, for the sake of bringing some awareness to the Switch 2 release. I want to go through Creepshow. That one was released yesterday by DreadXP and developer PHL Games. I want to run through Creepshow as well. I want to run through Reunite. That's a pretty smooth grid-based roguelike deck builder. Yeah, that looks really good. But what looks really amazing is yet another Zombie Survivors. That's one hell of a survivor like. It's releases in 1.0. It's gonna release in 1.0. I don't have the release date here, but it's very soon, this month in August. And as a matter of fact, it doesn't really. Okay, forget it. I won't do that. I'm taking up time because this is not about these games. It's actually about Agent 64. But yet another Zombie Survivors is releasing in 1.0 this month, and it's really impressive. I took the 1.0 for a test run, and I really like it. I'm really growing to love the survivor-like genre, and this one is like a cut above the rest. And I haven't really experienced any crappy survivor-likes thus far, but I'm gonna say straight that yet another Zombie Survivors is pretty amazing, and it's been about for a long time because, you know, it was released the 13th of July 2023 in early access. You know what I'm saying? That's 3 years ago, and here we are, just getting the 1.0 now, and I have seen it about, but I never really hopped onto it before. And yeah, you know, Player Phone just hooked me up with a key, and I took it for a test run, and I am impressed. So yeah, that's what I have lined up, and I'm going to be releasing a select for Bootstrap Island, a VR experience recently released a day or two ago on PSVR 2. Yeah, that's some pretty good stuff. So I won't be streaming that. I don't really like streaming VR. It's uncomfortable to stream VR. So I'll be just making my first impressions video of that one, and you can look out for that one as well if you're into VR. But yeah, enough of that. It's time for Agent 64, Spies Never Die. Thanks again to Stride PR for hooking me up with the Steam key. This one is out now by Solo Dev Replicant D6. Come on. Press any button. Boom, thank you. Let me put the headphones on. Turn that down just so there are no. Although, come to think of it, I don't think there's any talking in this game, so there may not be any kind of much of a reverb, so I'll just leave my speakers on. If anybody has a problem with it, let me know. But yeah, there's no talking. So you can play this co-op. There's even split screen. There's online PvP, and you can play the entire campaign co-op. That's pretty cool. This is gonna remind you, if you are from those days, or if you're interested and been researching that era, it's gonna remind you of GoldenEye. It's gonna remind you of Perfect Dark, N64, PS1, even Sega Saturn style games. Okay, let's do it from top. Brand new. Leave that special agent not. I'm just gonna go hard on this one, like we used to do back in the old school. If it's too tough, then hey, so be it. Find him and that key. Do not fail me. Probably all gonna fail, but we'll see how it goes. There I'm playing my N64, eh? Looks like trouble, better check it out. Indeed. Oh yeah. Picked up the Viper. Oh yeah. Oh, you really came around to see if I was okay? I appreciate that, my friend. See, there's no aiming down the sight. You know, this is real old school stuff. See, I like this. I like this. It was really good. It feels really good. And I'm telling you, I'm not even, you know, I'm old school and I'm an old school gamer, but the retro stuff, I'm not one of those old school gamers who go about crying about how the retro days were the better days and games in the 90s are better than games today. And nah, that's not me. That's bullshit. When you hear people saying that games were better 30, 20 years ago, that's garbage. They're just bitter motherfuckers. It's not true. Games today are a whole lot better than the games of yesteryear. And everybody knows that. They just like to talk shit. Everybody knows that. People learn from their mistakes. This is as close as it goes to aiming down the sight. But you don't really aim down the sight. It's kind of wonky as well. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, whenever I get that nostalgia itch, what I do, give me a second. One second. Apologies. I'm back. Yeah, whenever I feel, because there are times where I say, hey, I go rekindle some of that old school stuff. I'll be playing Black Belt on the Master System and whatnot. But what I do is I launch Launchbox, you know what I'm saying? And I go, do some emulation, you know what I'm saying? And I'm cool. But that's not very often. I'm not going to pretend. Some people even actually pretend. They don't really play all these retro games that they talk about. They just like to complain. And they talk about how, yeah, I have my Nintendo 64, the original Nintendo 64, and my original NES. And when I'm playing these games, I go straight retro and it's authentic because I play from the actual machine. I don't play no emulation. Some people do that, and some people just say they do that. But to honestly say that games of yesteryear were better is bullshit. It's complete nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. It's a lie. People learn from their mistakes. And that's why you have people complaining about games with quote-unquote dated mechanics, and this game feels like it was made 10 years ago and yada yada yada. Because I love retro gaming and I loved gaming back in the days, and I ain't ever gonna burn those bridges and say anything bad about those games, but they needed refinements, you know what I'm saying? Games from a generation ago, like Xbox One, needed refinements, and refinements were made for the Xbox Series games and the PS5 era of games, you know what I'm saying? There's some beautiful, amazing experiences that were made back in the days. I'm not saying no to that, but I'm even one of my favorite all-time games that I literally still play to this day is Skyrim. And I'm a late starter with Skyrim, actually. I didn't play Skyrim when it came out in 2009. I started playing Skyrim in VR. I've never played flat Skyrim before in my life. The first Skyrim I've ever played is Skyrim in VR. And I can still say that, even though right now it is my favorite game, period, over everything else that I own, everything. And when I say I own, I mean I own so many games I my Steam library alone, I have no idea what's in that. And that's just for the Steam library. And Skyrim is the best, but it's dated. I can feel it, you know, Skyrim is dated. Even with all the mods that I'm playing with, it's still dated. And I can see where it could use some refinements. So yeah, I'm not knocking retro, I'm not knocking the games of old, I love them. I love where we're coming from, and I can still go back and enjoy some of them, but I ain't gonna, you know, some people just like to fucking complain and like to be the guy who has something to complain about. That ain't me. I'm fine with the direction gaming has gone. It's just, yeah, there are some things like, you know, monetization and predatory tactics and these microtransactions and all that shit. Fine, but I don't even come across a lot of that in the kind of gaming I do. And a lot of cats, their expectations are too high. A lot of complaints and disappointments come from unrealistic expectations. Come on! Come on, come on, come on, come on! Why are you not shooting? Press B to switch item to launch a tracker on the head. Well, I would if he didn't spend so much fucking time reloading. Aim assist can now be set in the options. Confirm. Real old school. Back to the start, right? Yep, back to square one. Yeah, for the sake of what I'm gonna do, because actually the hardest, if I go to quit, will you go back to the options menu, or are you gonna go back to my desktop? Let's see. Are you sure you want that? But yes. What I'm saying is back to menu. The hardest difficulty so far is not that hard. I mean, I was probably at the end of the level, I'm not certain. But for the sake of this stream, I'm gonna put it to special agent, just so I don't end up spending the entire hour on the first stage. Back in the days as well, it's funny, I'm talking about back in the days when I'm playing something like this. But yeah, back in the day, I would never put a game on normal. It doesn't matter what the game was. Driving game, fighting game, action adventure, it doesn't matter. I just had to put it on the hardest difficulty possible. It was an ego thing. But I don't do that anymore. See, back then I had time to do that shit. I had time. You were younger, you had time, man. There were times that I would be up with friends until the wee hours of the morning, almost until sunrise, playing Tekken tag tournament and all kinds of things, and Street Fighter. And I could be playing Final Fantasy VII for hours and hours and hours. Not only do I not have the luxury of allotting that amount of time to gaming, but I don't have the desire either. I don't have the desire to do that either. It's kind of funny though that they said aim assist was available, but I don't think aim assist is necessary. Aiming is pretty tight, you know what I mean? The aiming actually feels kind of like there's aim assist. It's like it's kind of hard to miss, to be perfectly honest with you, and aim assist isn't even on. So imagine if it was. You know, that's the thing about it, reloading. That's one of my gripes. It's like a silly complaint, but reloading to me is like a necessary evil in games. It's like one of the most annoying things to be in the middle of a gunfight, under heavy fire, and you're reloading. I don't care how fast the guy's reloading. Like, reloading can never be fast enough for me. Like, get that shit over with quickly. Quickly, wrap it up, man. I'm always complaining about reloading because it just irritates me. I guess that's an impatient thing about me. I just hate to be under fire and then look at the guy fumbling about reloading, and this guy doesn't even fumble. But reloading can never be fast enough for me. That's one of the things in video games that piss me off. Reloading. And it shouldn't, because it's logical. I mean, I think Tomb Raider on the Sega Saturn, the very first Tomb Raider, I think there was no reloading with those. There were 9s. The 9s had infinite ammo, and I'm not certain if she ever reloaded. That was interesting. See, back in the old school, there were no regenerating health bars like in modern stuff. Call of Duty, this Marine gets shot a bunch of times and he just ducks behind cover and takes a few deep breaths and he's ready again. Like, deep breathing is what the oh god, I was reading a comment. Come on guys, I was reading a comment. In the time before time and the place before. I'm not certain what that is, if that's somebody just saying some spammy shit or what. But yeah, if that's somebody subscribing, I'd appreciate it. What can I say? Every sub counts. Every sub counts for my humble movement. Who just shot him? Because for some reason, the normal difficulty, it seems like I'm getting shot more than I got shot in the hardest difficulty. Let me go upstairs and see who was giving me, so I can lessen the opposition. Was it you? Was it you? Ooh! Oh, yeah, this guy died the last time, so then. There's some guys on the other side, isn't there? No? Anyway, press B to switch the items and launch a track on the helicopter. Okay. Alright. Objective 3 complete. Okay. You know, I'm not certain if I even know what objective 2 is. Hold on a second. Briefing. Access service elevator. Okay. Shoot it. Okay. Hold on. Most elevators have been disabled. Take the sky bridge to the other side and use the... Okay. Sky bridge. They're saying the sky bridge. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go back downstairs. I think the sky bridge is downstairs. I think that's a sky bridge, right? No, that doesn't look like a sky. It kind of looks like a sky bridge. Is that the sky bridge? Hold on. I think so. How do I jump? No. How do we jump? Is that even a sky bridge though? It says go to the other side and you say I couldn't tell you how to jump. I could not tell you how to jump. Can't we just take the chopper? Okay. That kind of looks sky bridgey, you know. Like you must go to. Okay, so what am I missing with jump? That ain't jump. That ain't jump. You would think it is jump, but it's a space bar. No. Let me see something here. Options. Control. Display keyboard binds. No controller. Controller mode normal. Where do I get to see the Let me see if there's even a jump. I don't think this guy jumps. So there is no jump, is there? So there must be another way to get that sky bridge then, because there's no jump. So I'm not supposed to jump over there. There's something I'm missing. That's all there is to it. But that's what I'm saying, you know. Even on the hardest difficulty, it's not that so far. It's not that hard because I got here on the hardest difficulty, the first playthrough. Okay, maybe I need to go down the floor. Blood clot. Alright then. There's no leaning out the cover and all that modern day shit. You see what I'm saying? How can you honestly say that games of yesteryear were better? You know what I mean? When Gears of War and all those other cats came out with this leaning thing. That's something you give thanks for, man. How can you not like aiming down the sights? You know what I'm saying? These things aren't just modern day ideas, they're realistic. You know, you have a weapon, you'll aim down the sight. You're in a fire. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're in a firefight, you're going to lean out the cover and, you know, shoot, you know? Even if your life didn't depend on it, even if it was fucking laser tag, you know, if the paintballs, you still, you know, get him to lean in and out of cover so you don't get shot. Okay, so I'm assuming the skybridge thing is because this place is getting heavily guarded. I thought I was done. I thought to buy the chopper that I was just like, wrap it up, let's go. But nope. There's a whole squad of guys down here. Up to no good. Causing trouble in the neighborhood. So I'm gonna check I checked the lift, but they said the lift don't work. So hey, whoa, son. But there should really be some checkpoints. So I mean, even old games of old had checkpoints. Come on, back in the NES days, is that somebody? I think that's somebody. Even back in the olden days, we had passwords. You know, there's save points. Come on, man. Give me a checkpoint. Come on, man. Give me a checkpoint. That ain't old school, man. That's just sadistic. Give me a checkpoint, man. I didn't even see you. I barely, woo. No health, nothing, you know. My health is really low. Whoa. Don't waste no time on reloading now, my friend. Do not get shot while reloading. That's like an offense. That's like an insult, you know. You don't want to do that. Oh, you were just sitting there? Where's the gun? Oh shit. I only got 19 bullets left. Pick up ammo. Pick up ammo, Wayne. Pick up ammo. What's this? Do I need to shoot this red thing before I go? Is it a laser or some stupid shit? No. Blood clot. Does this thing ever end? I did the right thing by dropping the difficulty. God damn it, I only have 3 shots left. Hold on there, man. This is getting sticky. Whoa! That's what I'm talking about. I'm running out of health and I don't think I got a checkpoint. There are no checkpoints. No fucking checkpoints. Blood clot! That rough though. Alright, that shit is fucking rough, man. Whoa. That is kind of fucking rough. That kind of, you know, that changes the game a little bit now. It's like you have to, I'm gonna need to be a whole lot more methodical. Like I was just running through taking this thing for granted, but whoa. Let me see some. Aim mode sensitivity. Oh, aim assist was on. That's odd, but that's fine. Classic. Classic? What the hell does that feel like? Oh no, no, hell to the no. Hell no. Oh god, this is what Nintendo 64 controllers used to feel like. Oh, hell to the no. No. Hell no. So I'm telling you, man, games weren't better back in the day. No, it's just, people saying that, it's just nostalgia talking, you know? It wasn't that games were better, it's just that they're reminiscing about, you know, the times they missed when they were younger and the good times. And some of us, you know, our youth wasn't even that good. But there's still something about the past. I guess there had to be something good that was happening. There had to be something. You know, maybe there was something about the youth that you liked, no matter how bad your life was. But, you know, I wouldn't do that Marty McFly shit, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go back in the past even if I had the option to go back in the past, you know what I'm saying? There are even some decisions that I perhaps would not make again that I should make. You know? I mean, you'll be tempted. You look at certain things that may have given you made your life a little bit harder. Certain sacrifices you ended up making, and you might say, well, you know, if I went back in the past, I just skip this. You know what I'm saying? Since I know what's coming around that corner, I wouldn't go around that corner. But in hindsight, I think if you lived your life correctly and if you come to grips with the whole thing that, you know, there's, for every mistake, it's really instructions on what not to do next time and to do it differently. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means you should approach it differently. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like I'm rambling, but, you know, who knows, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what I'm talking about, knows what I'm talking about. There are certain things that, if you play your cards right, it's how you approach situations is what I'm saying. It's not the situation per se, it's how you approach it and how you respond to it. Because there's always gonna be some shit. There's always gonna be some shit in life. So let's say you could change who your parents were. Let's say you're one of those people who didn't like your father, you didn't like your mother, you didn't like your siblings, and you wanted to change. You're gonna pick some new siblings and there's gonna be some new shit to contend with, because, you know, some of us pretend like our lives are perfect and we're perfect people and we're happy and life is all just sunshine and rainbows, but it's not. Everybody's got their shit to deal with. Some of us got financial problems, some got mental problems, some got physical problems, some got spiritual problems, you know what I'm saying? envy anyone for their lives and say, I wish I was living your life. You know, I see a celebrity, I wish I was that person. Don't be doing that shit, man. Don't be doing that shit. You tell me one celebrity who's ever lived forever. When you think about life, you have 4 very important things in life that I believe determine success. I know to most people it's just one thing. You know, narrow-minded people. Success is a lot of money. That's bullshit. Money is the least of the apostles. Money is the least. Success is mental health, physical health, spiritual health, and financial health. But finances take a way distant fourth place. Finance is the least. When you think about it, I mean, if you were sick in a hospital, you think when some of them giants and moguls, you think when Steve Jobs was on his deathbed, he wouldn't trade places with my healthy broke ass in a fucking second? Some of us got no foresight. Once you prioritize and you realize what's really important. Some of us are only going to know that money isn't that important if we get it. And it's sad that we have to actually get it to realize that it ain't it. You know what I'm saying? How many times in your life did you want this material thing? You really wanted this new iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Your phone is running out of storage space and everybody else on Instagram and TikTok got the new iPhone and all the ads and everybody seems to be happy with this iPhone and you're imagining what you could do with this iPhone and then BAM! You play your cards right or you play your cards wrong and you end up with the iPhone. And 2 weeks after you have the iPhone, it's like it's just another fucking chunk of plastic. It's just like, it's not that special anymore 2 weeks after you got it. But before you got it, you were thinking that it was like the pinnacle of happiness in life. But you had to get it first to realize how inconsequential, how insignificant it is in the grand scheme of things. You got your first car, or you were able to trade in your old jalopy for a better car, or even a new car. You probably sacrificed for that new car, you know what I'm saying? Put yourself in debt for that new car, you know what I'm saying? There's a saying that says that, you know, what we do is we spend money we don't have to impress people we don't know, you know, on things we don't even fucking need. And it is true. It is true. So, you know, you go get all these material things that you say you always wanted, and it's after you get it. Let's say you got that new car, and then you got sick. And it doesn't have to be anything really terminal. You could just have a really bad case of the flu. You know, driving that car ain't gonna make you feel any better. You feel like complete and utter garbage, and that's just the flu. You know what I'm saying? That's just the flu. Then you start to realize quickly, oh shit, but the car ain't making me feel no better. And it's the same thing with money, but a lot of us, and I can speak from experience because, you know, when I was younger, not even that young, like, I want to be as rich as humanly possible. Like, fuck it, you can't be too rich. That's bullshit. Now, while that rapper who said that had that song about more money, more problems, he was wrong. It's not really more money, more problems. It's more people, more problems. But the money brings the people. It brings the attention. You reach to a certain point in your life. It could be because I'm 50 and I'm no longer in my 20s, and cats in their 20s I probably wish I'd shut the fuck up and just play the game. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, stupid. Money is everything. It's not. Money's barely anything. When you reach a certain age, maybe, not for everybody, you start thinking, shit, cabin in the woods, out in the forest, you know, as long as it's got solar panels and the basic necessities, and I can maybe have some good Wi-Fi, you know, probably do some farming, you know what I'm saying, catch some fish in the lake, go fishing sometimes, just easy, and, you know, enjoy the finer things in life, you know. Sometimes all the people and all the technology just drains you. You ever sat in, oh no, no, everything is just fucked. I was really watching my health, but then I made a wrong move. But I do see how I could make it though. I could make it. I see how I could make it. I see how I could make it because I was doing really well. And then I just got impatient. You know, let me talk about the game a little bit. What makes this experience hard isn't the opposition. Like, it's not these guys. It's not the limited ammo. Because the ammo isn't really that limited. What makes the game difficult is no checkpoints and no health refills. I'm sure later on in the game there are going to be bosses and whatnot, but right now, it's just this one run roguelike thing. And it's no roguelike because whenever you die, there are no power-ups to make you come back stronger. But it's this one run and done thing. That's the issue. If there were some health packs, if there were some checkpoints, this is not particularly an old school mechanic. This is more like almost like a permadeath mechanic. It's almost Souls-like actually. Nah, it's not really Souls-like, but the only hard thing about this is that there are no fucking continues and there are no health refills. That makes it difficult. Jesus, who the fuck shot? I'm getting careless. I see how this can be done. If I go through this carefully, not rush, reload, without running in, treat the situation like what it is. Like it's almost like a real life thing, you know what I'm saying? Just that you take a whole lot more shots than you would in real life, but in life, there are no medical kits that are gonna help you fix a fucking shot to the face, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure one of these cats must have shot me in the face since I started. There are no med kits for that shit. And there are no checkpoints in real life, so I get that. But I'm still gonna say it's not an old school mechanic. I'll hold firm to that. Simply because I've played old games back in the days of the N64 and the PlayStation where you had save points. Oh Jesus. You had save points. And you sure as fuck had medkits. You know what? I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not 100% certain there are no checkpoints or medkits actually. I don't think there are. But it's not impossible that I missed them. It is not impossible that I missed them. It's not impossible that... Did I go through gear? Hold on. Okay. So there ain't no... I ain't got no medkits taken with me. Yeah, I highly doubt it. And you think that maybe, like, you shoot a bunch of this stuff, you may see a medkit pop out. You know, stupid video game shit. But no, that ain't happening. Because I never really stopped to look. But usually, you know, like again, video game bullshit. Health packs are usually unmissable, you know. You don't miss the health packs. They always pop up in places that you can see them. So I highly doubt there are any medkits. That'd be nice, you know what I'm saying? Even if the hardest level, the hardest setting, like what I was on when I just started, had no health packs. But the normal setting, you know, drop a health pack or two, you know, have a pack of have a first aid kit hanging around somewhere. Even one would have helped me. Even fucking one. Refill my life bar by half. But I guess, you know, the dev wasn't having that. The dev is similar to that developer who, old formulas who created the System Critical franchise. He ain't playing around. He ain't dicking around. Although, in fairness, System Critical does give you checkpoints. Just checking. Okay, there are no health packs anywhere. Okay. And I can't go around. Okay, the crate. I can't go about shooting everything because ammo is limited. But you know what? It's worth a shot. This is the last one. Okay. Ammo is limited. This ain't working out for me. really are no health packs. It's just ammo pickups. Well, at least the developer gave us ammo. You know, it could have been worse. You know, we could have had no ammo pickups either. You know what I'm saying? So, thankful for the small mercies, I suppose. Security isn't too good at all. You guys didn't hear me coming? I ain't got no more bullets left. Ain't that some shit? I ain't got no melee. Fuck, really? Really? It's kinda stupid, man. That's kinda fucking stupid, man. They can use fucking melee, why can't I use melee? Let me see something real. Unarmed. Oh, really? I have to go for unarmed first so I can't hit you with the butt of my gun. Hey, I'm just a visitor here, you know? The dev makes the rules, you know what I'm saying? Those are the rules, and those are the rules, my friend. Where's your gun? There's one more gun missing. I need all the ammo I can get, man. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Truth be told, I'm kind of tired anyway. It's fine. I said an hour and I did approximately an hour. It's not that it wasn't good. I like it, but hey, I'm kind of tired today. Like I said, Friday is a really busy day, but I gave it a feature and it actually deserves a feature. Because it's really good, and I do like to support indie developers. When you hear solo dev and you check out the experience and it's not a solo developed pile of garbage, it's actually good. Give props. I can't tell nowadays. I really can't tell when a game used AI or not. I think that has declared on Steam or something. I didn't check. But the whole AI thing, I have my take on it, but I don't even want to get into that right now. My point is, somehow, that's gut feeling. I don't think there was any AI involved in the creation of this, and I give him props for that as well. Because if a solo developer decides to use some AI to assist them, help them out, it's kind of like, getting assets, purchasing assets to put into your game as opposed to creating them from scratch. If you're a solo dev or a small development team, I can't bash anybody for that. I can't bash a solo dev for using some AI voice acting. I don't like the AI thing. I don't like where it's going. I mean, AI has been about for as long as I know. If I was playing ET on my Atari 2600 back in the early 80s, that was AI. It's just that we kind of redefined what AI means now, or it has, for lack of a better word, evolved into something else where it's a crutch. It's like it's now a substitute for talent. It's a substitute for hard work. It's a substitute for perseverance, a little bit of stick-to-itiveness. Now you just type in some descriptions into a program and you got a flyer and you pretend to be a graphics artist and you pretend to be a game developer. My point is, I don't think there was any AI used in this, but even if there was, I wouldn't knock an indie dev for using AI. What happens is, like, you have a huge company using AI that is just earning a whole lot of money. Even double A, you don't have to be huge, but you could actually employ somebody, but instead you just decided, hey, AI, you know what I'm saying? Not feeling that, and the only time everybody's gonna feel it is when it's too late. I was once speaking with this lady, a therapist. She was a client of mine, a humongous asshole. And, she loved using this website called Fiverr because you got cheap labor there. That was like slavery. Like, you just spend a little bit and you get a lot. And, she loved using Fiverr, and I was explaining to her that, Fiverr is a threat to people like me who have invested decades into my craft, into my art, into my career. And you have some people out there what cats from back in my father's day would describe as prostituting the profession. Because if you think about prostitution, you think about what a prostitute is as somebody who sells sex. I get that. When you think deeper into it, a prostitute is somebody who is selling something that is invaluable. That's something that's supposed to be treated with like divinity. Sex is not something you should be able to put a price tag on, but you basically put a price tag on one of the most valuable and priceless things in existence. So when they say you're prostituting the profession, that's what they mean. It's a very valuable thing, and you're just diminishing it and belittling it, trifling with it, and just acting desperate. A drowning man grabs at straws. Yes, but a straw has never saved a drowning man. And that's what I'm talking about with AI. It's like, when it gets to the point where you gotta be, people go study, went to college, and who didn't go to college did the street side college thing and the YouTube college thing, and they put blood, sweat, and tears into making themselves a good author, making themselves a good writer, making themselves a good video editor, a good video producer, an audio producer who makes music, or a good singer who spent a lot of time crafting their talent, honing their talent, becoming a good singer and putting in all the work, and then all of a sudden you have people who just going on to the internet and typing in some bullshit. First it used to be auto-tune, now it's worse. Now you just sample your voice and get an entire song, and that's disgraceful to me. And people think it's cool and laughing and, oh, listen to this and look at this flyer that I... No, call me old school. I don't give a shit. I'm fine with that. I'm 50 years old. I am old school. That's bullshit. I know I've gone off on a tangent, but my point is, if you got a huge studio or a semi-huge studio or a big enough studio to employ people, employ a voice actor. Pay a fucking voice actor, asshole. You can afford it. No, you're gonna get AI to do the voice and not pay a cent. But you're still gonna charge the same amount of money for your game though, right? And you're not giving anybody any real discounts now, are you? No, but you're gonna shortcut and get an AI this and AI that, and AI rubs me the wrong way. But if you're a solo dev and you do use some AI, I get it. That shit is expensive. You have some solo developers and small indie developers right now with projects in limbo, in purgatory. You know what I'm saying? They can't even release a project because they can't afford it. Cats putting there doing waitering jobs, waiting tables and doing all kinds of shit, driving Ubers and shit, and using that money to fund their game. They ain't got no backers, no publishers, they ain't got no investors, and they still can't get their game out. You want to use some AI voice acting? Go right ahead. Me personally, I prefer bad voice acting than AI voice acting, because AI voice acting is bad, but it's going to get to a point where you can't tell the difference. And there are some times where there's some AI voice acting people, these cats out there making their YouTube videos that have the AI narrating, and sometimes I have to listen really good. Is this AI or not? And then you hear them pronounce a word really funny, you say, oh, that's AI. But sometimes you can't even tell. But sometimes you can. And I used to always say, I prefer bad voice acting over no voice acting. And then the AI thing came in and I said, I prefer get bad voice acting than AI voice acting. And sometimes I prefer no voice acting than AI voice acting. But yeah, lots of people aren't going to get it, because lots of people where their jobs, their livelihoods aren't being affected directly because of AI. Some people do have jobs like you may be a pizza chef, you know what I'm saying? You may be a plumber, you may be a mason or a carpenter, you may drive an Uber, you may be a lawyer, you may be a therapist, and AI hasn't taken your job yet. That's right. When I was a photographer back in the days, when I say photographer back in the days, I used to actually process film in a darkroom. That's right, these gray hairs, yeah. I used to process film in a darkroom, and back in those days when the digital stuff was coming out, people like my father used to not be worried. They thought that film was going to last forever, and then the digital came in and, oh, this digital stuff can't ever take over. It's just a fad. That's like when people used to think first-person shooters were a fad. Here we go. Now, back in the days, people thought, when Atari was dropping the ball, and shitting their pants and fucked up the video game industry, people thought video games were just a fad. Nintendo came in, did some good stuff, did some magic with Sega. People still thought video games were just a fad. Look at it now. Video games are just for kids. Look at it now. How many parents out there, responsible parents, that actually buy Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto 6 for their kids? It's not for kids anymore, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that, I know I've gone off on a little bit of a rant, and I don't want to go knocking AI, because I do use Siri to ask some questions sometimes. I do some research on ChatGPT, but I ain't got no fucking AI making my thumbnails and writing my scripts and doing my voices. And nah, you're gonna hear my old school voice until I ain't got it no more before I get up and start using AI to make videos. That's just garbage, man. I ain't impressed. That's what I'm saying. I'm not impressed with AI. AI does not impress me. Like these VR mods coming out. When Team Beef and Flat to VR were putting out their VR mods, and I got Skyrim VR modded and some other VR mods, they were impressive. Like every couple of months you saw a VR mod pop up, and I liked it. But now, every 3 seconds there's a new fucking VR mod, and AI is making these mods. And yeah, I'm not saying I'll never play them, but I'm telling you, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed because no hard work was put into that, no craft was put into that, no blood, sweat and tears was put into that, no fucking talent was put into that. Talentless hacks are making games now, and I'm not impressed, you know what I'm saying? Again, call me old school, it's no problem. I'm good with that, I can live with that because I am old school, I'm 50 years old. Today we've been playing Agent 64, Spies Never Die. This one was released on August 13th, 2020, August 11th, 2026. It's available on Steam. I left a link in the description on the YouTube VOD, and in the chats as well. You guys can grab it if it's something that you like. If you're into the whole retro, back in the days, retro N64, perfect, dark, GoldenEye kind of stuff, it's written all over this. Lots of homage was paid to the these, some people call it the golden era. I'm not too sure about that. Again, I don't believe gaming was better back then, so I'm not going to call it the golden era. I had some good times with the N64 when I was younger, and the Super Nintendo and the Sega Saturn and the PS1 and all these gold consoles. I owned all of them. I still do, actually. They're in a storage locker. The Dreamcast, I had a good time with all of them, but I'm not going to call any of that shit the golden era of gaming, because I'm happy with where gaming is right now. With the exception of this AI bullshit, games are better today than they were back in the days. You hear these retro cats in my age group talking shit about games got worse and games were better, and why is it that we enjoyed games more when we were younger? You enjoyed games more when you were younger because you were younger. You were a fucking kid, that's why you enjoyed it some more. It's not because games have gotten worse. Games have gotten fucking better. Playing this reminds me of that. It's a great game for what it is. Nostalgia is there. It's nice, but it's not better. It's not be able to aim down the sight. It's not better. Come on, who the fuck you kidding? To not be able to go behind cover and peep out Gears of War style. It's not better. It felt better. That's just nostalgia talking, because you were a fucking kid and you'd have played games 24 hours straight, and you got a hard on when you got a new fucking console. You were a fucking kid. It's not because the games were better. It's because you were a fucking kid. We're not kids anymore. I love video games, but not like I used to. I would not spend an entire day just playing video games, missing sleep, not eating, not taking a piss. Some people are pissing in bottles. Not me. And I wouldn't do that today. I love games, but I'm now a video game journalist, and I've taken it from a different perspective where I'm kind of, paying back. I'm kind of giving back to the industry from what I do. Like right now, this game was given to me by the developer. I get games every single week. I get more games than I can count. And I make these videos and I do what I can to help. So I kind of approach it differently. Casually playing games, nothing wrong with that. My life doesn't really give me that luxury to just sit back on a couch. I haven't done that in a long time. Playing a game just for shits and giggles, nah. So yeah, that's my rant for today. Thank you to my viewers on Kick, on Twitch, on YouTube, however many or few there were. I appreciate it a lot. A special shout out to my cats in the Caribbean. You can watch my TV series. That's another way that I pay back as a video game journalist. It's not just a title I give myself. I'm literally a video game journalist. I have been all over the world, in Africa, North America, Hawaii, doing stuff, esports stuff in Caribbean. And I have a television show. It's been about since 2003. Not many TV shows that exist anymore, but yeah, it's still about. You can watch it in 25 Caribbean countries, and soon you'll be able to watch it on online television outside of the Caribbean. But yeah, Cats in the Caribbean can watch it, 25 Caribbean countries, on the Stream Blue app as well. Cats in Canada can check out the Lab Video Game TV's gaming news every Thursday at 4 p.m. during the Stage Projects on Ontario's Island Radio 101.3 FM. You can listen to it live anywhere else in the world at cjai.ca. And those are my public service announcements for today. Thanks again for passing through. Thanks to Stride PR for hooking me up with the Steam key for Agent 64 Spies Never Die. If this is your kind of thing, feel free to cop this on Steam. It's good. I didn't do very well today. I didn't pass the first level. It's kind of hard. There are no checkpoints from what I know, and there are no health pickups. It's just one run, get it right, or start over from scratch. And on top of that, I'm kind of tired. So I was getting kind of frustrated in the end, and I just lost the strategy. Just didn't have a desire to play smarter, because I'm really tired. Fridays are a really busy day. I just put out the gaming news video format on YouTube. You guys can go check that out. There's also a giveaway in the video as well. Hand of Fate Hordes. If you watch the video, you'll hear the instructions at the start. If you want a Steam key for Hands of Fate Hands of Fate Hordes, it's a pretty cool survival-like, mixed in with deck building aspects and roguelike aspects. If you'd like to grab a key for that, go over to my YouTube channel. That's the Lab Video Game TV. Can't miss it. It's the most recent video I uploaded. You may not have the attention span to watch the entire 7-minute video. The instructions are at the start. All you gotta do is watch the video, leave a specific comment saying you want it, and it's yours. First come, first serve. This has been one more round of Select Live here on the Lab Video Game TV Live, where our game is just never over.
You're trapped inside with pure evil. There's a new VR experience out on MetaQuest from Nigeria, and a whole bunch more indie and VR releases inbound. It's one more round of the Lab Video Game TV. Bowl of Tentacles teams up with Jandu Soft for Evil Inside VR. eMedia Interactive from Abuja, Nigeria releases Closer Look VR Old Ways on MetaQuest with a Steam VR release inbound. And there's a whole lot of new indie and VR experiences just waiting to be experienced. The Leemeister Papalema scores a close win on Mad Dog McGriff in Crimson Desert in this week's freestyle clip. You want in? Send your best gameplay clips to contact at thelabvideogametv.com to be featured on Flow 1 in 25 Caribbean countries. Grab a Steam key for Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks in this episode's Game Key giveaway. Be in the know, visit the website at thelabvideogametv.com. Download the Stream Blue app to watch us on Flow on the go. Check out the Lab Video Game TV during the Sage Projects on Ontario's Island Radio 101.3 FM and live at cjai.ca every Thursday at 4 p.m. I'm the Sage and you've just entered the Lab.
Watch Season 13 of the Lab Video Game TV in 25 Caribbean countries only on Flow 1. Download the Caribbean's premium streaming app, Stream Blue, to watch on the go. International video game and esports journalist Wayne Benjamin presents the Lab Video Game TV since 2003. Our game is never over.